Good afternoon. My name is Aamer Anwar. I'm a solicitor acting on behalf of the family of Ethan Brown. I'm instructed by Ethan's parents, Tracy, who's sat on my right, and Colin, who's sat on my left. Ethan's mother is Tracy Scott. Colin Scott is Ethan's father. And on the left of Colin is Ethan's uncle, Alan O'Neill. Robbie Cole, a solicitor at the firm, is sat to the right of Tracy. I'll issue a statement following which the family has asked me to read out in detail, which expresses their beliefs, the background and the circumstances that led to the suicide of Ethan Scott and what the demands are the family are making from the University of Glasgow. I'll issue a statement following which Tracy will speak, and then Dozy on to carry out one-to-one interviews with Tracy or myself. I know some people had already made a request to Molly. And also the full copy of the press briefing pack will be made available to everybody. So you've got a hard copy, but also a digital copy will be sent out to you with covering letters in the background and circumstances. So thank you. Starting, Ethan Scott Brown was born on the 14th of August 2001 to parents Tracy and Scott. He was a much loved addition to their now completed family of four. His arrival brought immense joy to his parents and to his older sister Chloe Alana Brown, born on the 10th of April 1997, who is over the moon to take on the role of big sister. Ethan was always a happy, loving boy, known for his great and slightly cheeky sense of humour. Ethan began his education at Carnbrough Primary in Coatbridge in August 2007, before moving on to Coatbridge High School in August 2013. Throughout his school years, Ethan was always described by his teachers as clever, hard-working, dedicated, qualities that positioned him well for success in any career path he chose to pursue. Early in his secondary education, Ethan expressed his desire to attend university, specifically naming the University of Glasgow as the institution he wished to attend. He was inspired to follow in the footsteps of his aunt Marilyn, who had studied there before. In his final year of high school, his sense of humour and determination were evident in his contribution to the sixth-year yearbook. In response to the question, "Where do you see yourself in 10 years?" Ethan wrote, still begging Glasgow University to accept me. Ethan was delighted when he was accepted to Glasgow University in August 2019, where he began studying geography. Ethan was due to graduate in June 2024, but an assignment had not been handed in according to the university, as a result of which Ethan was unable to have a summer graduation. But the university failed to communicate at all with Ethan through the whole of summer, as he hoped he would be able to graduate in December. It was only in September 2024 that Ethan was informed by the university that he had not been awarded a grade for one course and would not be eligible to graduate with an honours degree. As a result of this, Ethan tragically took his own life at home on the 13th of December 2024, the day he should have been graduating. Tragically, Tracy found her 23-year-old boy dead in his bedroom early that morning after he had taken his own life. It was only after Ethan's family saw answers from the university on the 13th of January 2025 that an internal investigation produced a report in February 2025 confirming that Ethan was actually awarded the wrong grade for that course due to an error by the university. Ethan should have in fact been graduated with a 2-1 honours degree. This failure was not identified by any University of Glasgow staff, nor was it picked up by 2 internal exam boards and 1 external exam board. Ethan's family were horrified to learn that not only had Ethan been failed by the university, but this failure was a systemic problem that was not just confined to the Geographical and Earth Sciences department, but also potentially other departments at the university. I quote from the university's internal report, which we will send you digital copies of, but we've identified 4 areas that came to the attention of the university. Firstly, the regulations and code of assessment. They stated there was a misunderstanding or confusion amongst the majority of staff interviewed about what should happen if a senior honours student fails to complete at least 75% assessment for a course but has completed more than 75% of the totality of assessment across all of their courses in honours. What they said was, some academic staff said they did not know what would happen in such a case. And the report went on to say that I believe that the student, i.e. Ethan, should have been eligible for a 2-year honours degree. And they say this is a systemic problem rather than an error made by an individual. They go on, this systemic problem is a serious issue for the university, and I believe that it may not be confined to geography or earth sciences. The university went on to say in the section on exam board, there was a lack of clarity in the minutes of the final external exam board about 5 students, including Ethan, who prompted their review. And they say, however, there was no note in the exam board minutes about what arrangements will be made to contact the students and discuss their options with them. 3. Assessment extension requests. In the case of the student, who is Ethan, they prompted this review. There were 2 requests for extensions, December 23, February 24, with details of deteriorating health and distress, which could have alerted staff to a student with deteriorating well-being and provided an opportunity for communicating with him. The university goes on to say, as far as I could ascertain, there was no follow-up contact with the student after communicating the decisions about his extension requests. 4. Student communications. They say, in the case of the student who prompted this review, i.e. Ethan, the P&A staff, member of staff, contacted the student in September 2024 about non-completion. Initially, it was erroneously stated in the email that Ethan had not completed his 3rd year. Ethan replied to clarify that he had completed his 3rd year, but had not completed 4th year. He asked if he could do the remaining course that semester. The member of staff responded that he could opt for a designated degree and graduate in December. The P&A member of staff did not get back to the student. Today, this family are asking how many other tens, 20s, hundreds or thousands of students at the university have been wrongly failed over the years. They also ask whether this systemic failure would ever have been identified had Ethan not died and his family had not fought for answers. To be clear, had the family not contacted the university on the 13th of January 2025 and demanded answers 1 month after Ethan took his own life, they would have been none the wiser. Ethan's family wished to raise serious concerns about the lack of professional support, mental health support offered to struggling students by the University of Glasgow. Ethan reported difficulties with his mental health to university, and yet no support was offered. In 2018 to 2021, when I was rector of the university, I repeatedly raised the failures to deal with mental health for students and staff as a damning indictment of Glasgow, one of the world's leading universities. Sadly, the failure to support Ethan is yet another damning indictment. The University of Glasgow, the family believe, failed Ethan and believe he took his own life as a result. The family ask how many other vulnerable students have wrongly been told they cannot graduate. With regards to the principal of Glasgow University, Professor Sir Anton Muscatelli, along with the incoming principal, has refused to meet the family today unless they attended a lower. Without myself, the family's lawyer and former rector of the university present, the family found the principal's offer to be shameful and cowardly on his last day in post after 16 years of service. Why, since the meeting in the 14th of February, has the university not had the decency to advise Ethan's family what steps have been followed, what further investigations have been covered to ensure that no other student or family has to suffer in the same way again? Finally, Ethan's family had hoped that someone at the university had the compassion to allow this family to receive Ethan's honours degree at the graduation ceremony. But no one in the university has been in touch. And the family are also keen to know what the Scottish Government's Cabinet Secretary for Education and Higher Education will do to ensure universities complying in governance and their duty of care for students. The family wish me to state that Ethan had a smile that would light up the room, and he was someone people wanted to spend time with. Following Ethan's passing, his best friend Kyle Buchanan paid tribute with heartfelt words. Ethan, you will always be loved, always remembered, always missed, and forever in our hearts. This sentiment is deeply shared by his family, and all loved it. They hoped that change at the University of Glasgow will be Ethan's lasting legacy. Thank you.